Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I wanted to sit down and share with you the 20 goals that I have laid out for myself for the year 2022. I'm not someone who typically makes sweeping resolutions or things like that because for me they don't feel authentic. I feel like if I was going to make a resolution, then I don't need to wait for some arbitrary mark in the calendar in order to do that. However, I do like to set goals for myself at the beginning of the year so that I can look back on them and reflect on what goals I have actually hit, what goals I didn't even attempt, and what goals kind of tapered off, and really look at those changes and how they have made that ripple effect throughout the year, and to really look at what goals I want to take into the following year. Do I want to pick up some of the goals that I had for the year prior, or did they taper off because they were no longer serving me? And I think that that's kind of where my biggest focus is going to be for 2022, is trying to find a way to let go of the things that are no longer serving me. We have spent the past 2 years in such an odd place, and I know for me, they've been a difficult 2 years, and so I'm really trying to look at 2022 with as much optimism as I possibly can. So let me talk to you about some of those goals. Now, some of these goals are going to relate to this channel and my makeup panning journey and the entirety of my online life, whereas many of them will also hit on my personal life, my family life, things like that here at home. So let's talk first about some of the goals that I would really like to achieve in the coming year as they pertain to my YouTube channel. And some of those are kind of lofty. In fact, the first one is that I would really like to finish 22 full-size makeup products between now and the end of the year. You'll notice that I am kitschy. 22 is going to be a recurring theme here just because, I mean, you guys know me. I love a good theme. But I would like to finish up 22 full-size items. And in addition to that, I would also like to hit 22 new pans in my makeup collection. So those are the first two goals. And while I do want to finish up 22 items, I am actually going to be focusing more on hitting the 22 pans. When I have been sitting down and looking at my makeup, especially because right now I'm filming my inventory, hence some of the just chaos behind me, I have a lot of very new products, and so I kind of have been toying with the idea of focusing more on hitting pan or usage goals so that I'm able to rotate more thoroughly through the makeup that I own. That way I'm hopefully setting myself up for bigger success in the coming years when it comes to actually finishing off products. Let's take a bronzer, for example. If I were to take a bronzer and try to use it all the way through, that would easily take me the better part of the year, if not more. And in that time period, nothing else is getting any attention. Whereas, at least in my head, I feel like if I were to focus on rotating through my items, hitting pan in as many places as I can, then in a couple of years, when I do come back around to wanting to finish things off, I've already got a head start. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at as far as those goals go. Now, in addition to that, I do have some kind of benchmarks that I would like to hit. I am so grateful for every single person that takes the time out of their day to watch any of my videos, to subscribe to my channel, to subscribe and follow on my Instagram page. I am so humbled that anybody would really care that much to want to do that, and being able to chat with you guys in the comments, being able to interact with you, I cannot tell you just how special and important that is to me. With that being said, I do want to grow that number, so I would love to be able to hit 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I would also love to be able to get to 750 Instagram followers. Those I feel like are both pretty attainable. In the year 2021, I was able to gain an additional 500 subscribers, give or take. And so I'm very much hoping that in this coming year, I can gain an additional 500 subscribers to get to that 2,000 mark. Is it the end of the world if I don't? Absolutely not. Like I said, I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I'm just trying to challenge myself to see what areas I can grow in. And the same is true for Instagram. Now, with those goals, there are definitely some areas that I would like to be able to improve behind the scenes. And that definitely is going to be editing. I have such basic editing skills right now, and I would really love to improve on those so that I can be more proud of the videos that I am producing for you guys. I am someone who has always been a very high achiever at every job that I've had. Well, except for one. Maybe that'll be a different story for another day. But I've always been a very high achiever. And now that I don't work outside of the home, I'm a stay-at-home mom now, I don't have that outlet. And I have probably too much shifted that focus on to sort of my online life. And in a way, it's been really great because I'm trying to learn skills that I did not previously have. But it also, I'm trying to be very careful that it doesn't take the fun out of it. So I'm really trying to balance those things. But I would like to improve my editing skills. So if any of you guys have any suggestions for sort of learning resources, I use the Filmora Wondershare, I think that's what it's called. So any recommendations you guys have, or any, if you're content creators out there, anybody that you follow that has editing kind of tips and tutorials and things like that, let me know. The same is true for Instagram. That's not necessarily an editing thing because I don't know how to edit for Instagram, aside from like blurring the background, but also I really don't want to. I am very big on, not filtering myself, not making myself look any better or worse than I am, because I feel like that's just setting unrealistic expectations and this unrealistic persona out there, and that is absolutely not what I want. But I do want to get better at being able to take the pictures themselves that I am then putting onto Instagram, because right now my selfie skills are rudimentary at best. So definitely that's going to fall into my goal of getting better at editing. So I do also want to diversify my channel content a little bit more as well. And I've touched on that in the past, but I haven't actually followed through with it very well. And part of that is because I get scared off by the analytics. And I really want to try not to look at my analytics so much, because again, I don't want to take the fun out of it. But some of the videos that I work really, really hard on and then nobody watches, it can feel very disheartening. And what I need to do is shift my mindset away from doing things because I want other people to notice them, and do them because I genuinely enjoy doing them. So I do want to try to diversify my channel a little bit more. I love project panning. You guys know I am panning obsessed to the point where I take on way too many projects. So diversifying my channel will also kind of help me in that regard, because I took on too many last year, and it meant that I was just always underneath the next deadline of the next update and things like that. And I just wasn't getting as much enjoyment out of the project, not getting as much enjoyment out of my makeup. And so I think diversifying my channel will help me not take on so much. So hoping to do that in this coming year. And then I think that those are the only things that I have in regard to my YouTube channel and Instagram. I'm kind of lumping those together. So all of the remaining goals that I have for the year are either something that is relating to me as a person or to me and my family. So definitely one of the things that I want to do to help improve myself is going to be to drink more water. I know everybody talks about that. I am so bad, so bad. I went for my first physical in many years a few months ago, and I don't think I've actually seen a doctor's jaw drop in conversing with them before, but when asked how much water I drink, my response did not go over very well. So I need to focus on trying to drink more water. For me, it's just all coffee all day. So I need to get much better about that. So definitely goals to drink more water. I would also like to kind of get back into some of my more healthy habits, because I do want to lose some weight this year. And that is also coming from a couple of different sources, one of which is my doctor. You know, when I did all of my panels, my blood work and all that kind of stuff, just my glucose levels put me into a pre-diabetic category, which honestly flipped me out. That was a very scary thing to read, but part of what is affecting that is because I am heavier than what I should be for my age, for my body size, for my height, all that kind of, you know, statistical stuff there. So, because as I said, I do like to go with themes. I'd like to lose 22 pounds this year. I figure that averages almost 2 pounds a month, and that feels doable. Now, whether or not I actually get there, I'm not sure, but that would put me down to about my pre-pregnancy weight, which probably was a little bit more than what I should have been at the time anyway, but I think that that is a good goal to strive for, and then my doctor and I can decide from there what additional steps need to be taken. But in order to help me achieve that goal, I've got a couple of areas that I want to focus on, and one of which is to start doing yoga regularly again. Before I moved out of Texas, I was doing yoga every week. There was this glorious class that I was a part of along with my best girlfriends. We went every Tuesday, and this class was just, I've been chasing this class since leaving it. It was, I feel like so many of the studios that I have kind of dabbled in since moving, it's always been very like cardio based, you know, like hot yoga and stuff like that, which many people absolutely love. I'm just not one of them. That's not what I was doing yoga for. The class that I was coming from was very position based. It was learning the different positions, continuing to expand on those positions, and I just remember feeling so powerful when I would go from the very basic version of a pose and, you know, how you deepen it and expand upon it until you get to some of the, you know, much more advanced poses. The accomplishment and just the feeling of being so strong and so powerful, just, it felt amazing. Like the tone of this class was perfect, and I've yet to find anything like it. But what I need to do is find a class that, even if it's not that I do enjoy and that I do get benefit from, because I miss the way my body felt when I was doing yoga more regularly. And I know you don't actually need a class to do that, but I want to make sure that I have the right form and the right technique, because that's been more than 10 years ago now. I want to make sure that I've got the right form and the right technique so that I don't end up injuring myself. But I would like to get back into doing that on a weekly basis if I can. In addition to that, I do want to increase the amount of steps that I take during the day. I have a Fitbit. You guys have seen it in many, many videos, and I love it. I've been using Fitbit for, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years now. I've been through almost all of their different iterations, but I went through my numbers for 2021, and I was just over 1.6 million steps for the entirety of the year, which when divided out by each day is just shy of around 4,600 steps or something like that. I had it in my phone and then I deleted it because I'm a dork. But I would love to get up to about 7,500 steps a day. I feel like that would be a huge improvement. That would almost double the amount of steps that I took last year. And I feel like that would be a really, really good thing, not just for, you know, weight loss efforts, but just in general. I find myself doing a lot of sitting, and that's mostly because I'm trying to entertain and corral the kids, but I need to find a way to integrate a lot more movement into my days. So 7,500 steps a day, I think is a good target to try to strive for, especially once the weather starts to improve a little bit. We finally gotten down to colder weather. It was 75 degrees on the 1st of January. Finally gotten down to colder weather, so I can't take the girls outside with me anymore, but especially once the weather transitions into spring and we get a little bit warmer temperatures, spending a lot more time outdoors I think would be great, not just for me, but for my kids too. What else do I have as far as my health goes? Sorry, I've got, I have all of them listed here so that I can refer back to them regularly. Yeah, I think that's all that when it comes to my health. Certainly, you know, eating better. I don't eat poorly as it is, but I tend to eat on the go with kids. I feel like a lot of you who have kids out there probably are going, yeah. So, while that's not technically a goal, it, you know, kind of falls into that category. Okay. And then let's talk about the goals that I have for my family, for my house, for my life outside of myself. And then we'll finish off with my kind of overarching goal to kind of paint the tone for the entirety of the year. So as you have seen for many, many weeks now in my background, I have a lot of disorganization going on in here and I don't like it. I don't enjoy how busy my background is, and the fact that that's just a piece of the rest of my, of my house. And I hate that. I have accumulated so much stuff over the past 8 years. And I touched on this a little bit in my makeup rehab intro, and the fact that I will shop out of boredom. I need to get out of the house. I need to have something to do. I will go to TJ Maxx, to Marshalls, to Home Goods, because everything there is so much less expensive. And then I end up buying just nonsense stuff that I don't need. So one of my goals for 2020 is to declutter at least one item from my home every single day. I want to get myself into kind of the habit and the mindset of looking critically at the things that I own and deciding whether or not I actually need or want them. One of the categories, or I guess one, maybe not category, but one of the things that I tend to fall prey to is but what if I need it? What if there comes a day when I need that whatever, that, I don't know, that stamp with my address on it that I'm not going to need anymore because we're going to be moving partway through the year. You know, looking at the things in my house and be like, is this something that I need? And not allowing myself to be like, well, one day, maybe. I'm not someone who likes to buy and purge. That's just not who I am. But I also want to get myself out of the habit of holding on to things based on what if. I also tend to be someone who holds on to things for sentimental attachment reasons. And while I don't want to sweep everything out of my house, I'm by no means intending on becoming a minimalist, I also don't necessarily need to hold on to every single drawing that my son does because it feels sentimental to me. The holiday cards that I've gotten in the past, I don't need to hold on to those because someone gifted them to me. I need to be a little less emotional about the physical things that are taking over my life. So doing a daily declutter, I think, will help get me into that mindset. Now, this is the one goal that may or may not go until the end of the year. As I just mentioned and as I talked about in other videos, we have the construction of our new house happening now, so we will be moving through partway through the year, and I plan on doing just epic amounts of decluttering because I don't want to take all of these items that I own into this new house. That doesn't feel like that would serve me at all. So I am going to be doing a massive declutter throughout the packing process. So I don't know if once we move, if I will still feel the need to do a daily declutter, but again, I want to get myself into that habit, into that mindset, and create that habit within myself to be looking critically at my possessions. In addition to that, I really want to create cleaning schedules. I have never really had a cleaning schedule. In fact, you know, when I was a single person or even before my husband and I had kids, I would take my day off and just clean or you know, do all those kinds of things. You know, it was just kind of I don't want to say a haphazard approach, but it certainly wasn't thoughtful in its approach. Then we had our first child and we were both working full time. So cleaning was typically relegated to the weekends where, again, it was a day off, focus on cleaning whatever needed to be cleaned. But even that, it started to fall by the wayside, which is how we have so much clutter, you know, doing kind of the really important things, making sure we're clean, not necessarily, you know, feeling comfortable if somebody comes over because we got all this crap everywhere. But it was clean. That was the important part. And then, you know, all of the sudden, my husband is home all day, every day. He works remotely. I'm home all day, every day because I'm now a stay-at-home mom. My kids are home all day, every day because they're too young to be in school or anything like that. And so we have people in this house constantly making messes and, you know, doing all these things and that need a ton of attention. And so I have found that cleaning just becomes a sort of like panic response to whatever 5 minutes I have available, and I don't have any sort of structure in place. So I really want to sit down and create structure and routine that will help me do things in a more efficient manner. So that is definitely a big goal for 2022. I do also want to, I want to find a hobby that gets me out of the house but isn't shopping. As I mentioned before, I get bored, and when I can leave the house, it's while the kids are taking their naps. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to do anything to do, sorry. So I end up going shopping because it's something to do and it's fun and it, you know, gives me that kind of happy sensation when I find something really great and then I can bring it home with me. But that's not a hobby. That's not a hobby. That's not a fulfilling way to spend my time. So I would really like to find a hobby that gets me out of the house, that doesn't have me bringing more stuff into my house. So that is definitely a goal. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work with, you know, this ongoing world that we live in, but that is definitely a goal that I would like to see. I would also like to make more time for social interaction. I get very focused on what needs to be done that moment. And I will have thoughts sometimes like, hey, I should call so-and-so. I haven't spoken to so-and-so in, you know, X amount of time. And I will get busy doing something and I will think about it again 3 weeks later and be like, oh, I never called so-and-so. So it resorts to texting, and I do a ton of texting, although probably not quite as much as I should, to be honest. But that's not, for me, true social interaction. And this really kind of hit home when I had a fantastic, like 2-hour-long conversation with one of my very dearest friends. She's about to move to Scotland. I'm so excited for her and her family and this new adventure that they're going to be on. But I had not actually spoken on the phone with her in months, maybe even close to a year. Like, it was some ridiculous amount of time. And just how much more connection I have in talking to somebody versus just texting here and there and sporadically. And especially for my friends that, you know, don't live here, that's something that I need to get better at doing, is making that time to really have those social interactions and social connections that I have genuinely been lacking. And it's just because I've been just head down survival mode and I need to get out of that. Also, you know, being able to physically get together with friends that I have locally and things like that as, you know, the world permits. But I want to make a much more concerted effort towards that. I also want to read again. I miss reading and I haven't read. I'm embarrassed to say that I can't remember the last book that I read or when that was. I don't think it's been in the past 2 years, which is just ridiculous because I used to read a ton. So I've set a very small goal. I would like to read 6 books throughout the course of this year. Very much hopeful that I can get that done. I mean, I used to be able to do that in 2 months. Like, this is crazy, but baby steps, baby steps. I also want to create for myself a sleep schedule. I did this for my kids. I don't do it for myself, and I find myself, you know, being awake much later than I want to be because it's the only kind of alone time that I get. But it doesn't serve me well. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. It's not serving me. I'm waking up exhausted, and it just is this domino effect. So I want to create for myself a sleep schedule that will help me get more rest, which will help me to be a more mindful and positive and present person in my waking day. I do also want to, and this is a very personal one, but I want to make a point of finding a way to make my husband smile every single day. If you have kids, then you may understand what it's like when you first have kids and you are just 100% dedicated to them, and they are your 100% focus. And that's how I've been, especially these past 2 years with the girls and everything that's going on. It's just been so much, and I've been 100% focused on them, and I haven't been nurturing the relationship with my husband that I've been building with my kids. And so I really want to make a strong effort at rebuilding that. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not in any trouble. My relationship is not in any trouble, but I have noticed that our interactions together are not the same as they were a few years ago. And it's because we haven't been watering the plant of our relationship. I mean, how silly can I sound? I have to change my battery. I'll be right back. All right, fresh battery. I need to get in the habit of putting a fresh battery in my camera every single time I sit down to film. I've been filming my inventory, so I just hadn't thought about it. And all right, so we have 3 goals left to talk about, and one of them is to reconnect with my patients. I have noticed that, especially over the past 3 months or so, my patience has been running razor thin. And I don't like that. I don't like being that person that just has no patience for myself, patience for my husband, patience for my kids, patience for the world. I've just been on the edge, and I need to find a way to reconnect with my patience and with my inner calm, because I miss that. I do. I do also want to pay off 3 credit cards in this coming year. I feel like that would be a really exciting moment and a really exciting sort of stop on our journey to becoming mostly debt-free. I say mostly because there are always going to be debts in our house, our mortgage, our cars, things like that. But I really want to eliminate all of our credit card and revolving debt, because that's just not serving us in a productive way. And then finally, my last goal for 2022 is to enjoy life again, to get back to a place where I'm not simply in survival mode, but to enjoy things. Enjoy my makeup, enjoy my panning journey, enjoy my family, enjoy my home, enjoy my friends, enjoy life and the world. And I feel like these past 2 years have taken such a toll on, I feel like basically all of us. And I want to find a way to kind of get out of that headspace, even if that's what's still occurring in the world. I want to find a way to get myself out of that headspace of just constant gloom and doom and fear, because that is no way to live. So I want to find a way to find and enjoy my life again. I know that's kind of a somber sort of place to end, but I feel like enjoyment is my overarching theme for my goals for the year, is to find a way to just enjoy everything again, because I used to. I did, and there are many things that I do enjoy. I don't want you to feel like that, you know, I have no joy in my life. I do. but there are definitely areas where I can bring that joy back, and that is what I want. So those are my goals. What are your goals for 2022? Please let me know. And if you have made it this far in the video, because I talk a lot, I appreciate you and I love you guys so, so much. Let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts and what are your goals, and we will have a chat about it. As always, everything that I'm wearing will be linked in the description box below. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing so. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.